Hello, hello. Buenas tardes, buenos días. Buenas a todos. Welcome back to the Chancleta Generation podcast. It is summer here, finally. And welcome back to our final episode of the season. My name is Clemencia, and I am the founder of Moyer Studio, which is an advertising agency that specializes in communicating with Latinos in the US authentically, which is the only way that we deserve to do it. And today with me, we have a very special guest. We have a lady that does exactly what I do. And here, I've talked about this before. There's no competition. We're all in this together. We're fighting for the same cause. Therefore, I am perfectly friends with other agency owners that are also Latinos and that also work with Latinos because together we are stronger. So welcome, Ana Carolina.
Gracias. Thank you so much, Clemencia. I'm so excited to be part of this last episode of your season and to have this incredible conversation with you and share some pieces of advice to your audience. I'm very happy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thank you. So maybe you guys may not know out there, but I was in Ana Carolina's podcast, Hablamos Spanglish, a few months ago. If you have not checked that out, please go check it out because I over there, I spilled some tea about my history and my story, which sometimes, you've heard it over time here, but over there you get the whole thing. So Exactly. If you want to go and listen to that, we can post a link on social media so you guys can check it out. Anyway, enough about me. We're going to talk about Ana Carolina. So Ana Carolina Salazar is a Venezuelan lady who has called the U.S. home for 2 decades. She's a successful Latina entrepreneur, passionate about her Hispanic roots and serving her community. Her journey from Venezuela to the U.S. at age 15 sparked a quest for cultural integration. Inspired by her father's musical legacy, Ana delved into marketing and communications, navigating roles at Intravisión and Prospera. Today, as the CEO and founder of Bold, a Hispanic marketing agency, and the voice of the Hablamos Spanglish podcast, she champions unity, diversity, and success through shared experiences and stories. So, for all of you out there to know, Ana Carolina and I met last year and we totally connected because of the same things that I just said. We're just like, oh my God, we do the same thing and we do it for the same reasons. And so how can we collaborate? How can we talk? What are we going to do together? And we have been, working towards more of a partnership, but also we have sat down as just people and talked about our entrepreneurial journeys.
Yes.
And, the other day we were sitting down having a margarita together in a bar, in an outdoor bar. and we started talking about, the challenges and the rewards of running a business as a Latina woman. And I just thought that this would be very interesting to all of our listeners out there. So, especially because Ana Carolina has worked at different places that actually help Latino entrepreneurs. So I learned the hard way. I was just like crashing the car, the car that is my conscious and my body and my soul into all these walls to try to learn, what I know now. But you came the other way, which was you actually learn how to build up entrepreneurs first and before you. So tell me about how that made such a difference to you, and tell me just a little bit more about what you learned.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that incredible introduction. I loved it. And so I didn't even know that I was going to become an entrepreneur, right? So I to do entertainment. I wanted to have my own TV show, radio, being a radio host, because that it was an influence from my dad. Like you said, everything started when I used to produce my dad's concert. He's a well-known Venezuelan singer, so I used to help him from selling the tickets to doing the art for the flyers and the posters. And going back then, there was not social media, so I used to go to all the Hispanic markets, which were only a few, but go there, put the flyers, the posters, all that, the traditional marketing.
The old school way.
Exactly. Doing the PR, getting on the media. But I also was able to go with him on media tours and in Venezuela and produce the concerts here, being on a stage. So that's actually where I started learning about building a business, which I didn't even know that it was a business, but we didn't see it that way. It was more to promote our culture here in the United States, right? And my dad was also following his dreams, but I started developing those connections here in Orlando at a local level. I got involved with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I was an intern, so I was learning. I always joke that instead of me going to parties while I was in college, I was networking. So it actually started that way, but I wasn't aware that my journey was gonna take me to creating my business. And because I was following my dreams, I went to Univision. I worked at Univision and Travision at the time. They opened the doors for me. I was on the sales team, helping the sales team put together marketing ideas, presentations, but I couldn't stay, one place, so I had to help on every department. I wanted to learn, experience, and take the most out of it. So I will also stay later on after my shift was done. Stay with the news team, and I started learning how to do the news, how to report, how to edit, all those things, right? But then I wanted to really do what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I didn't get that opportunity at Univision, so I started searching for new opportunities, which led me to Prospera, which is a nonprofit organization that helps Hispanic entrepreneurs to start and expand their businesses. So, and they are the sister organization of the Hispanic Chamber here in Orlando, in Central Florida, which I already had an experience with, right?
Yeah.
And I actually, when I started at Prospera, it was because I was doing the marketing for them and I wasn't behind the scenes. I was telling their stories, and one day I said, hey, why not me, right? Maybe someday I can start my own company. But like you said, I already, was learning about these resources that at the end of the day, when I started the business, I went back to Prospera, this time not as an employee or a volunteer. I went as a client, and they helped me start my business.
Amazing. That's awesome. That's definitely something that not a lot of people have, or actually just not a lot of people know that it's accessible, right? That's exactly, I there's so many people, because my dad also does, he volunteers coaching new Latino entrepreneurs to start their business, because he was also an entrepreneur. And there's so many things that just people don't know. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I just, there's a lot of misconceptions, I think, about when you start a business. It's like people think that you start a business and you immediately start making some money, right? And unless you already have clients lined up and you have like a client book or you're like, or you're like buying a business or I don't know, there's gotta be some clients already lined up. It's not gonna happen.
No,
exactly. You gotta like, most of the times in the first year of business, people don't make any money. There's no profit.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, there's a lot of setup costs, if you have office space, you gotta get office space. If you need equipment, you gotta buy the equipment. If there's just so many, like, even if you don't have office space, you need to get your computer or you need to set up some software. There's always an initial expense and then you start getting the clients and then, so there's like, what do you think are other misconceptions? Because I feel like there's gotta be a lot.
Yeah, so it's like you mentioned, we don't know what we don't know, right? And that's what we do, right? That's when I was at Univision and then at Prospera, I learned, and I experienced firsthand the lack of a reach to the Hispanic market, right? Because the resources are there. But the thing is that, who promotes, who fills that gap, right? And that's why, I created Bold, right? But the thing is that even though I knew about their resources, right? I did commit, many mistakes when I started. But the good thing is that, those mistakes, I also learned some things the hard way, but some other things I was able to do it the right way because I was being coached by Prospera, right? I also seek advice, and actually Prospera connected me with other marketeers in the community just to do like compare pricing, and they can advise me, okay, how much does a website cost? How much does a brand identity cost? That all those things. So when I build my services, I was able to go in the market at a comparable price. We don't want to be too low. Unfortunately, Latinos or mujeres, we tend to charge
low,
muy poquito, right?
Yeah.
So, yes. Entonces, but it took me time to learn that hey, we need to value ourselves. It is a mindset that we need to change. I also seek advice from business consultants that help me change that mindset. Because in the United States, we don't do business the same way that we do business in Venezuela, in Colombia, Mexico. Is different, and it's important that if you're about to start your business, or even if you're already started but you want to grow, go to this organization. There are several organizations out there that can help you. Right now, through digital marketing, through Google, we can find these resources. Unfortunately, many of them aren't in Spanish yet, or they don't offer in Spanish. That's why, I commend Prospera from, because they're one of the pioneers of offering this type of services at not cost to the clients. And, I remember like going to my first meeting and my advisor told me, Ana, this is the type of bank account that you need to set up. You need to keep it separate from your personal, all those first steps that will, sometimes we can say that, oh no, since we're starting, we're going to do it all on our personal account. But actually, because of that, only that small advice, it helped me grow the company and maintain things separate. So
one of the main things about keeping things separate is that if anything happens to your business and you get sued, they will come after your personal account, and they will come after your house, So any of your personal assets, they will go after. So when you create a business, you create a limited liability company, exactly, which is an LLC. And that separates your personal assets, like your house, your personal bank account, anything that belongs to you or person, it separates it from your business. So if they sue the business, you may have insurance, and that, or your business may have insurance and that may cover it, or they may go after your business assets, but they won't take away your house. That's really important. And that's also something that people may not know. And this is another thing that I experienced. There's a lot of people out there that are offering you money to set up your business. That includes like business coaches or lawyers or CPAs or things like that. And they're like, yeah, give me $10,000 and I will get your business set up. Let me tell you right now, this is free. You can set up your own business for free, and you do not need to pay anyone to do it. You just need to know what to do. And some of these resources are out there for free. Don't waste your precious money in paying somebody to do this for you, because it's not worth it. It's not a lot of paperwork, to be honest.
Like I mentioned, there are nonprofit organizations out there that help you and guide you through all these steps. From legal advice to help you, register your business for free, to creating your first agreements. Also, because it's super important that I remember one of the advice that I was given is that when you're starting the business, you want to create your agreement, and you want to send your agreement to your clients at that time, because you're new and you to this business world, and you're a small business. You actually send that contract to the client to make sure they pay you, right? But then as you grow, you send that agreement to the client in order to protect you. So it is important that also we don't seek a lawyer only when we're in trouble. We can seek that lawyer before to keep us out of trouble, right?
Yeah, that's great. Retain a lawyer. Always have a lawyer. You don't need to pay them. You pay them if you need them, but always have one on call. Like, always make sure that you can pick up the phone and call that lawyer, because you never know. I mean, like, before I set up my business, I was a freelancer, and I knew how important it was to get contracts, because of all the times you get screwed. And you know what too? I think Latinos, like, they like to function on like words, like, not like I'll give you my word, or just like buddy. Or like buddy, we're friends, we're cool, we're gonna do. Even if you're working with family, guys, please have contracts. It's always, you never know how things may go south very quickly with friends, with family, or with clients. I mean, anywhere from the client goes bankrupt and they can't pay you. If you don't have a contract signed, that money is gone. But if you have a contract, you can actually take it to collections, you can retain your lawyer, and then the lawyer can go off of that contract. If there's no contract, the lawyer can't do anything. Contracts are really important. And yes, they may be expensive, because you know what? Lawyers are expensive, but they're worth it. You spend some money on the contracts, and then you can feel more chill. You could be like, okay, we got this.
Definitely. And actually, Clemencia, when I started, I got really, really involved with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce here, volunteering, creating that community around me. But then I remember being part of, actually, I went to this event, and I remember seeing this panel of a lawyer, a banker, a lawyer, a banker,
CPA,
and a CPA. So it's like, this is the team, external team that you need to have, right? Always by your side. to keep your books. A banker, I didn't even know how important it was to have a banker until COVID hit, because I wasn't able to get my PPP for the first round because I didn't have a relationship with my banker. So at that time, right after, I changed my bank because I needed to have that relationship with them in order, and it's for everything. Even, I don't know, like a client tried to pay you, but el cheque rebotó, the check didn't, they're gonna charge you a fee. But then if you talk to your banker, they can take that fee out, right? And they can help you because they want to retain you. But and I remember that I didn't even I create this community, right, around myself, and I was like, they need marketing too, So my CPA and I collaborated for many years. I did their website, did their social media, things like that. And the same thing with my lawyer, my legal advisor, because that's how we can start by collaboration, and collaboration has been key for me from the beginning.
And having your team, like you said, is very important. And opposite to what our parents may think, getting a really big bank to work with you may not be the right answer. Shop around. Sometimes the smaller banks really work with you. Like my bank at the beginning, when I was actually like physically depositing checks, because like back when I started my business, it wasn't like ACH or wire transfers. It was like I'll get a check.
I still have a client that sends me checks still.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So I said to them, hey, I'm a really busy person. I don't really have the time to go to the ATM physically and like, and deposit. Also, like the ATM had a limit on like how much you could deposit per day. And I tried to like bunch up all my checks and like go and deposit them all together, but they wouldn't let me. So I have to go in different days. And I was like, this is getting really hard for me. And they were like, not a problem. I can increase the limit for you. And then when the mobile deposits came about, and I said the same thing. Hey, is there any way that you can increase the limit on like mobile deposits? He's like, not a problem. We can increase the deposit. So like these are the things that are like save you money and save you time. And they're just and so it was a smaller bank. They really work with me because they exactly like you said, they want to retain you as a client. So they'll work with you as opposed to like the big banks that are like, I don't care. You're like a really small cog in the big wheel. Yeah. So in the same, like you said, the PPP is also it was also really important, to have a relationship with your banker. So that's a great point.
And I can tell you that because of that experience and what happened during COVID and PPP, many big, large banks are doing an amazing approach to really be out in the community, and being part of the chambers and really help the Latino community, the small business community. So I can give many examples because I've been part of many like cohorts and things like that. But I will tell you, like, my biggest advice is just ask for help, seek for help, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because that's something that I will tell you that in our countries we don't ask for help. Eso no nos quedamos callados.
Yeah, because it's a sign of weakness.
Exactly. So, mira, thanks to always me seeking, and because I want to learn more, and the entrepreneurship journey is bastante, it's lonely. So just like creating that community, going out to networking, join your chamber, join these organizations, because that way you can also generate these collaborations. You can also learn about all these nuggets, right, of wisdom that people already have. Because, like I mentioned, for me, and this is a new initiative, for example, that we're about to launch, is called Mujeres in Marketing, right? Because it's a nonprofit organization to help other women, otras mujeres in our field. Because I experienced it firsthand. It is hard to start your business in this market or to grow as a professional in this industry. And if I can, now that I have all the knowledge, if I can shorten the path for my Latinos, right, or for my women marketeers, and give my advice, I'm happy to do it. That I think that's one of my purposes.
I love that. But let's talk about that, because I feel like as Latinas, we have different challenges. I mean, we have different challenges than Anglo people, or like people who are not immigrants, and like you and me. And then there's another challenge of being a woman.
Oh, definitely.
Right? And so let's talk about that.
Yeah,
because I think that sometimes that could be a deterrent to people, and also, not a deterrent to start, but maybe like along the way that we find those challenges. Like, trust me, there's been a couple of times along the way that I'm like, okay, I don't think I can do this. This is too hard. I'm gonna give up. And so it's like, I think if people knew, or at least Latina women knew the challenges, they could be a little bit more prepared.
No, I can tell you so many stories where I have, felt that just because I'm immigrant, right? So it's a minority, and then le añadimos el being women, right? It takes twice as hard to get to where we want to go, right? And I remember, and I believe I shared this story with you, but I did this program that is very known here in Orlando, and after it was mostly with Americans, the general market, and another agency owner, he was a white male, and he invited me for just for us to get acquainted and have coffee and learn about each other's agency to see if we could collaborate. And I remember he was asking me like, okay, so how many team members do you have? And I told him, hey, we are, at the time I think we were 10. And so he was like, oh, you should be making this amount, right? So you should. And I was like, not even close, right? So, but I didn't say anything. I'm like, yeah.
Let me activate your imposter syndrome right now.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, no, not even close. But, I kept it to myself. And then he told me, so what's your exit strategy? Because guys, if you're listening, or to those that are listening and have a company, or if you're thinking about starting a company, because you need to know what you're going to do with your company. What's your exit strategy at the end, right? You want to sell it, you want to just pass it on to your kids, I don't know. But he asked me that. Yeah. And I told him, well, if I decide to sell the company, I will first let my team know to see if any is interested to buy the company. Of course, I didn't even know, that was like 3 years ago. But and I at the end of this conversation, he told me, what you're building is really great. Let me know when you're ready to sell the company. So I was like, this guy told me I should be making this amount of money first, right? And then his interested on buying the company. He was seeing something that I wasn't seeing. But instead of me like getting that imposter syndrome and like, oh, you know what, I cannot do this, or that generated a fire in me, like, you know what? Only 1.7% of women-owned companies get to the $1 million mark, right? So
isn't that crazy? It's crazy sad. Like, just it's
super sad.
It's depressing.
Yeah. So my question, and I would love to know that data if, hopefully we can find that out at some point, but out of that 1.7% of women-owned companies, I would like to know how many are Latinas, because this encompasses all the general market and all the minorities, right? So it is hard. It is very challenging, and when you see that, I of course it's gonna take us twice as hard, but I don't care. I said to myself, I'm gonna do it, because if he's seeing something in here, and if he can do it, I can do it. But por eso no nos limitemos. And I've been working with my brave friend, mentor, and sales coach on this, because it helped me change my mindset.
Yeah. So let me tell you guys out there right now, you're not going to be taken seriously. They're going to try to take advantage of you. They're going to try to take advantage of the fact that you may not know certain things. They may mansplain you. And those are like that's just the beginning. Those are like high level things that will happen as a woman in business, especially being a Latina. You will get passed over on proposals, on clients, on pitches. You will. It's a fact. You will. Like regular people do too, right? But you will be passed over more. And you need to be prepared. I'm not scaring you. I'm just preparing you to the real world. It's hard out there as a woman. It's hard there as a woman in business too. Just as hard. And so just be prepared and be prepared to say, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to go inside myself and just, wallow in my failures? Or am I going to be like, you know what? I'm going to show these people how to do it. Or like, I'm going to show them who I really am.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to get you to where you want to be.
Is
how you react to those things. Is how, like, when you find those obstacles in your journey, your entrepreneurship journey, what are you going to do? And as Ana Carolina suggested, find help. Get your friends to support you. Get a coach. Get executive coaches. Go get some free coaching somewhere. Because you know what? No estamos aprendidas. No nacimos aprendidas. Especially the way that we were raised as women. Women are not trained to be entrepreneurs. Even if our parents are entrepreneurs, sometimes it's like, it's just not clear. It's not a clear path. You know what I mean? It's like, it's because men running businesses are running differently than we do. We want to run our businesses in a different way, and that's okay.
Yeah.
What works for a man will not work for us, and what works for us will not work for a man, and that's okay. So, the path of entrepreneurship is very unique to everyone, and it's great to hear other people's experiences, but really, what you really need is some expert opinions, some expert knowledge, and just support. You lost that pitch, call your friend and cry. Be like, all right, I'm going to cry today. And then tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to keep going and I'm going to make a better pitch. I'm going to try to see what happened in that pitch and do it again. And that's it. That's what I learned, at least.
Yeah. And I will say also, to add to what you're saying, is that, overcoming those challenges require a lot of resilience, like you mentioned, strong support network. And mire, just a little bit of Spanglish magic, I will tell you that, because I will say something that I didn't see before. And I work on what I used to see as my strongest weakness, which was my accent. I had to change the mindset and actually become my strongest asset, right? So always be who you are, be yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, the Latino community continues to grow, and we need to support each other, just like Clemencia, and I have been doing it. And be vulnerable too. There are sometimes no podemos llevar tanto peso, right, encima. Right now, our communities are looking for that. There is a lot of, through social media, a lot of noise, and what you see sometimes is not real. You might see just that trophy gallery, for example, on Instagram, where everybody shares their good things.
Yes,
right?
the successes.
But, exactly. And that's unfortunately that's how it is. There are other people that are changing, that, and they're being very vulnerable, because unfortunately many people are suffering from mental health regarding that. But when you have a space to be vulnerable and say, this is what I'm going through, or this is what happened to me, and people can relate to those things, because believe me, my journey hasn't been easy, even though I had that experience that took me, that me cortó un poco de camino, right? Because I learned it early on. But there are some other things that you're gonna encounter where, you're not gonna be prepared for those things, and te vas a caer, but you just need to be resilient and continue, because we are in the land of opportunities, right? And los Estados Unidos has opened the doors to us, and we're working really hard. We're gonna see, and following our dreams, our passions, we're gonna see results, and vas a tener momentos de celebración. So that's why I say, embrace who you are, your identity, your roots. Never leave that aside. So that's gonna be give you double the opportunities as well.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about this before, in which, because of, many things of my upbringing and like getting to the US and all that stuff, I thought that I needed to be more masculine in my personality, in my way of being, to succeed, so people could take me more seriously, because everybody thought that I was 20 years younger than I really was. And so it was like, I developed this persona that I didn't even like that much, but it was actually working out for me for a while. For a while, but then there was a moment that I was like, you know what? Like, who am I really? Like, who am I kidding here? I don't wanna, this is not me. I'm actually very, nurturing, funny, or at least I like to think that I'm funny. And then, I like to like joke around and be very personable and friendly and whatever. And now that was not me. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do things my way and not, try to be what society thinks that I should be. I should be older. I should be more, what is it called? More forceful, more assertive, more. There's a space for us, and there's a space for all of us in the world.
Yeah.
And there's too many people, like I've seen it. There's too many women that are trying to be in this uber competitive, very masculine kind of, a way of being. that is not them. It's just like the world has like made them hard and made them like be this way, but we don't have to.
Yeah. No.
There's already a lot of people competing in that space. How about we compete in another space in which we are ourselves? We're women. I'm not saying that we all need to be like super girly or whatever. We just need to be ourselves, however we like it to be.
Yeah.
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 Exactly.
Unapologetically, right? We just do it. And you mentioned something that, that unconscious bias that we always encounter is unfortunate, but I just by being yourself is gonna help you really for people to understand you, but also to respect you, right? Porque es que I remember me too, when I started the business, it's like you need to dress a certain way, you need to talk a certain way, like so many things. And I used to come home with a headache that I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? And I'm like, no, I'm just tired of being somebody that I'm not. Whoever is going to do business with me is going to do it because my ability to do things, what I offer to them, and it's because of being who I am, right? So that's the way people are gonna learn also. And ya la gente, they don't want that. People want realness. They want true connections, right? Yeah. Because there is a lot of...
In the business, it's like an extension of who you are, right? So it's like if you're creating a business based on this persona that is not real, then what are you like, what are you really building your business about? And that, I think that was what really got me to, finding a more purposeful way of working instead of like, thinking like, like many other people think I'm just here to make money and like be successful and like blah, blah, have a big business. And more about like, hey, I'm going to do something that I really love doing and that I'm passionate about. And that's something completely different. And so it's like when you really are your authentic self, you really find that business that that's a saying that they say like, oh, if you love what you do, you'd never work. It's not super true.
No, you're gonna work hard, even though you love it.
You're gonna work your butt off, but you're gonna enjoy. But you're gonna enjoy the results more. Like you're gonna trudge through the mud for a couple of weeks, or a couple of months, or a couple of days, or a couple of years. But then once you get there, you're like, hey, that's great.
You're gonna have your good days and not so good day. I think this is a roller coaster of emotions on a constant basis, right? But if you love what you do, this is your passion, and you create a business around that, it's great to see then todos los frutos, right, that come from your business. And also, and this is something that I remember, Gaby Ortigoni, the president of the Hispanic Chamber, or she was the president of the Hispanic Chamber here, she told me, I told her, you know what, I am building this business because, my why is my family, right? And I don't care if I don't want to make the $1 million. And she's like, and why not? And she actually, when she told me that, it's like, right, ¿por qué las mujeres no podemos?
Dream big.
We can make money, and no está mal that we make money, okay? And that was something also that I needed to work on, because for women making money is bad. So making money is gonna help us.
And
right?
Talking about making money is bad.
Yeah,
talking about it too is bad. Saying,
exactly.
Oh yeah. we made this much in revenue last year. Oh, how dare you?
I know, right? I know.
And you're like, why? Did men do it? The men do it all the time.
I know. Oh my gosh. And I remember you and I like just talking about that, like, when did you get to that, to this revenue, when, like things like that. And it's good because it helps you understand money, how to work with money, how to, actually, at the end of the day, it's going to help you, help your business, help your team, your community. You are building something that is going to have a big impact. So nos tenemos que quitar eso de la cabeza, de no hablar de dinero because es malo. No. We women need to talk more about that.
Yeah. And also don't let people bring you down in prices.
No. Exactly.
If you feel like you're pricing your services well, because you've looked at your competition, you see that the quality of work is similar, so you feel like you've priced it at a fair price, don't let them bring it down. Because they will try.
Always.
They will try. I mean, everybody will try. Every single with every single business. Men run business will also try, so but the men will be like, nope, this is our price.
Yeah. Sobre todo con los servicios, they're service-based business, because when you go to a store, right, this is the price for this item, and that's the price for this item. You don't go and ask that person, "Ay, pero yo tengo, this is how much I have," right? No, you know, the same thing with service-based businesses. You are calculating an amount of hours that you're going to be working, your team is going to be working, right? You have administrative fees that you need to cover, expenses. So, don't. And that happens at the beginning. That's part of the growth. But as soon as you learn, and the quicker you learn and you implement it, believe me, you're going to be able to grow your business and also enjoy it.
Enjoy it. I think that's a great closing, right? Right? Enjoy it. If you open the business, you need to enjoy it. And this is a great advice that I got one time. One of my coaches said one time, the business needs to work for you, not the opposite. And if it doesn't work for you, find something else to do. Because you created this business to, support your family, because you have a purpose, because you really love something and you're really good at it. Think back on like why you started that business, and like keep chipping away at it, because if it's not working for you, and if it's trudging to the mud and you're not having a good time, maybe it's not for you.
No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Or maybe it's just time to refocus the business in something else, because that happens too. So many times. I mean, people like change what they sell, they change their services, change change the items that they sell, change how they do it, they change their target audience. There's and that's okay too. Like it doesn't have to always be this straight line. It could be very curvy, and you can come back around, and all those things. So that's but enjoying it is really, really important.
Yeah, and you know what? Also, now that you mentioned that, I had times where I said I cannot do this anymore. I just want to close the business. It was hard, and you know why? It's because we tend to overwork ourselves, stretch our lines too thin, right? And we don't take time for ourselves as business owners. We think that we have to be on top of things all the time, and you need to detach from your business, right? From sometimes, a mí me dijeron, if you can, every quarter, if you can take a break, do it, because you're the visionary. You are the one that needs to be thinking about 2-3 years from now, right? You cannot be thinking about the actual operation, and the operations, the day-to-day is going to drag you down. So those were the things that, and also I learned that through mentorship. And the more that I was able to implement that, the more I was able to enjoy my business, and to give the best of me to my community, to my clients, to my team. Because eso también, the energy, esa energía se contagia. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. If you have employees, they will always tell that you're having a bad day, or that you're over it. Anyway, so that is the time that we have for today. Ana Carolina, do you want to share with us your social media channels, so in case people want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, of course. And I'll share my personal, which is Ana Caro Salazar. You can follow me to learn more about, my story. Also, Hablamos Spanglish, which is my podcast. And my company's Bold Hispanic Marketing. And the newest venture that I'm about to launch with 3 other amazing marketeers here in Central Florida is Mujeres in Marketing, which we are really excited about it. But yeah, those are 4 accounts where you can learn more about myself, the community, the Hispanic community here in the United States, Hispanic marketing, how to approach the Hispanic market here in the US. I know you have learned a lot from Clemencia, and now this new community that we're building for nosotras, las mujeres en marketing.
I love that. I didn't know about that initiative. I love it. I'd love to know more.
Of course.
This
is going to be national.
Maybe we could talk about it some more in depth later on. Maybe we can bring all the other ladies into a panel and we can all talk about it.
Oof, I would love that. Let's do it.
Mira tú. Alrighty, guys. So that's a wrap for today. Please get in touch with me. You know where to find me, right? Chancleta Generation on the Instagrams, on the TikToks, and on the X. It's just Chancleta Gen because, Ellen is a pain in the butt. And if you like this podcast, please rate it and send it to your friends. If you have a Latino or a Latina that's starting a business, send them this podcast. Because there's some things in here that we both wish that we knew when we started. So spread the love out there. All right. Nos vemos, and we're gonna take a break for now on this podcast. We're gonna take a break for the summer, and we will be back in the fall with some really awesome guests that we are prepping right now. And thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you, Clemencia.
Ciao, ciao.